Naysmith is a boil on the face of reality, or at least so is his PC. Let's see if he's going to be a boil on the stress levels and satisfaction of Sostenes, who's going to be playing as the Farseer today. We're on a bit of a weird map here. What's it called? Fortuna Sanctum, I believe. One of them very rare ice maps. Snow maps. I guess there's not really that much ice, is there? There's a bit of ice. There you go. Ice. Yeah, it's a snow map. Interesting thing to note about this map is, like all maps made by Swift, it's full of tank traps. So let's see how they do. It looks like we've got the typical 1 Guardian 1 Banshee opening for Sostenes. Let's see if he's going to go for extra gens. Probably just 1 gen, because he's gone for double nodes instantly. Yeah, 1 gen. Cool. Cool. And we get the Chaos Heretics coming out here for Naysmith. That seems like it was kind of late. Was that late, or am I just going crazy right now? I'm not even sure. So obviously not going to be any gens immediately for him, given that he's gone CSM double Heretics. Let's see what he can do here. Doesn't matter if you've got green cover against CSM, you're going to struggle with Guardians, but the Farseer is fleeting in, and that will definitely help. Can she proc a beautiful special right away and hit all these CSM now? Just a few bits of chop chop, and she's going to flee. Honestly, probably worth her just chasing the CSM. She's going to take a lot of damage now, and she's going to be forced off, and then it's going to be a bad situation. Now, the Heretics want to blob together, and they want to just gangbang the Banshees. Okay, this is major miss micro from Naysmith. Holy shit. Why he's walking CSM forward, I'm not quite sure right now. The Heretics should not be worshipping right now. They need to get in the fight. He could have just forced melee with his entire army except the PC, and this would have been trivial. He's made a right mess of this. Throwing away his CSM for no reason. And the Banshees are beating the AC ticks because the AC ticks weren't even fighting the Banshees. They're running past them, and the Guardians are still in play. So, somehow, right now, Naysmith just lost this engagement, even though he bought an AC tick and he had double CSM, double Heretic CSM versus 1 Banshee and 1 Guardian. So, I'm not sure. That was very weird. Obviously, CSM running into melee was the worst mistake ever. Hotkey problems, apparently. But the Heretics going into worship doesn't really make any sense. You use the worship to win ranged firefights because 3.5 HP per second per model is not that much on CSM. Remember that Guardians are doing 7 DPS each times 5, 35. Okay, they only hit 8% at the time because small arms versus most infantry in this game only has 8% accuracy, and that's further debuffed by heavy infantry and cover, but come on. When we're talking about melee damage, 3.5 HP per second regen is not making no difference. And Heretics can't heal in combat anyway from Nurgle Worship, so I don't really understand why Naysmith thought that would be a good time to worship. You just overwhelm the enemy melee with Heretics. That's the value of Heretics. People always complain about how shit they are, but they're the cheapest unit in the game. If you use the 2 Heretics together, they will absolutely dominate, and it's something you should often do with melee spam. If you watch my gameplay with Commander Knob, I'll often go 2 sluggers, and I'll always send the 2 sluggers together, because 1 slugger can't beat an ASM or a strike squad, but 2 sluggers will absolutely kick the shit out of them. It's like an exponential increase in effectiveness, way better than twice as effective. It goes from being an engagement that you straight up lose to an engagement that you win while losing only 1 or 2 models. You've got 6 models in a squad, so that's an exponential advantage, to go from losing with all 6 models to winning with only losing 1 or 2. You get it? Well, the same thing happens with Heretics, so they should have just been running in. Anyway, mistakes happen, but now he knows. Let's see what else is going to happen. I mean, he's going to eat a grenade. That's just a micro thing. Fortunately, he did move in the last minute, so he doesn't actually lose any models, just gets hurt a bit. Now would be an interesting time to use your Nurgle Worship. Where are those Heretics? Okay, they're coming back out of the base. He's got Raptors, he's going to be able to jump the Shuriken, but he obviously Well, he needs them to actually be in a decent spot. This is kind of a risky engagement with the Banshees. Okay, they're gonna get some nice bleed here on the CSM. Damn, they nearly killed the fucking CSM. But Raptors, on the other hand, are putting a lot of pressure onto the Shuriken here. Yeah, 2 models down. Looks like they're gonna live just. Yeah, literally 1 more hit. Holy shit, would have killed the CSM. Yikes. AC Ticks, though, are going to engage. Looks like the Farseer is going to die here with the Raptors in retreat and then the Plague Bolter. Yeah, dead. Alright. Okay. And the Banshees get out with only 1 model lost. Good for the Banshees. Now, we've got double Shurikens. Oh, but this is a really nice use of the Raptors. Going to shut down both these squads. We don't have any plasma grenades, so there's really nothing that can go wrong here for Naysmith. Raptors, honestly, Raptors are good against Eldar, especially if it's not a Warlock, because then they don't have the Merciless Witchblade. Merciless Witchblade can be quite tough, but again, if you're PC, then you've got extra... Okay, this is... What are you doing? Why are you getting this? Why? Fear of the Banshees, is it? I don't know, man. Just get Mucus Discharge, heal your Raptors and your AC Ticks, you'll beat them in melee, don't worry about them. If you want to beat them in range, get Fetid and suppress them for 6 years, then you can shoot them. This is not a good idea. Is this meant to be a soft counter to a Shuriken? I don't understand. I don't know why he's gone for a Blight Grenade, it doesn't make any sense. Let's see how the Banshees do here. They're doing less damage because they fleeted in, so that's the 40% reduced damage even in melee there. Oh my god, he hits his own Raptors with the Blight Grenade, and then he spreads it to the CSM. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yeah, this was a terrible, terrible purchase, Naysmith. Stop getting this. This is... The Blight Grenade is for melee spam counters. You don't need it to counter 1 Banshee. Maybe if they went double Banshees, but even then, I wouldn't bother. I'd just get the Fetid armor and suppress them for ages with your Unholy Stench. Hey, it gives you a bit more HP on your PC too, so he can go in green cover and outshoot Shuriken since he doesn't get the reduction to his reload time that normally happens when you're suppressed. It's quite expensive as well. What is it, 25 power? That's delaying your tech for a fair bit there. I don't like it. You want to get to tier 2, get your Raptor Aspirant Champion. If you've got Mucus, you can support these guys in the melee fight quite well with that heal. And you'll manhandle Banshees. As long as you can, again, fight them 2v1, it's trivial. Now this is concerning again for Naysmith. He's going straight for the Bloodletters, but he hasn't seen yet what the Eldar's going for, and the Eldar's going for the Wraithlord. So he's gonna have to be careful that he doesn't bleed too much. The Bloodletters are fine, they're gonna counter the Shurikens. But obviously he'll have no counter at all to the Wraithlord. Now he can get heavy melee power fists on the PC, he can get the... Well, he's got the Aspirant Champion with that Demon Maul who does heavy melee damage, but... Might actually get the wipe on the Shuriken here. He should definitely get the wipe. If he uses Demonic Fury... Oh, he doesn't need to. Damn. Nice. That's a pickup. And now what he can do is Naysmith can go for a Blood Crusher and then force this thing to become a Bright Lance. Maybe. Maybe not. Because the problem is... it is a Farseer and she has very good synergy with Fire Dragons, for example. And that's a nice Blight Grenade. Sostenes just walked right into it. Yikes. Shuriken's going to have to get out of there. We do have the Armour of Fortune here on the Farseer. So she's a lot more tanky with that. Pretty big max HP increase, but also a good amount of extra HP regen. You can see down here she regens HP quite well with that. But the Wraithlord's going to present himself. Doesn't have any shoulder-mounted weaponry so far. Just has his little Shuriken catapult on his wrist. So not too much pressure from this guy, but obviously Naysmith needs to avoid it. He's going to go for a Havoc with a las cannon. I think that's actually okay. Now if I was Sostenes and I see this, I would go for an Autarch. And then I'd be thinking about getting a Gravity Blade on my Farseer to really dominate these melee fights. Though actually no, he can't, he's got Spirit Stones. So you probably just go for Singing Spear for more melee damage. Basically turning the Farseer into a tanky melee hero. And you just save her energy for Spirit Stones. You can cast Fortune once you start leveling up as well. on the Howling Banshees as the engagement starts, and you should have enough energy left for the Spirit Stones. And that will, with the Farseer, the Banshees then, and the Farseer having Spirit Stones and Singing Spear, plus an Autarch, you'd be able to beat Bloodletters quite easily in melee, even with the Raptors. That's when you can start, you know, evening out the melee fights from the Eldar perspective. The Wraithlord obviously can contribute, and the Autarch can jump over and deal with the Havocs. I wouldn't be replacing the Guardian Weapons team. You're against Bloodletters plus Raptors. That seems hard to handle. Another option you have is the Warp Spiders. They're actually countered by the Raptors, which is another reason why I actually really love Raptors against Eldar. I know people debate them. Obviously the power melee, the Banshees can be quite scary, but I think Raptors are great. But the Warp Spiders would mince up the Bloodletters, would mince up the Heretics. They give you mobility, nice for map control. They can teleport around and flank the Havoc, put some pressure on them. Do really nice against the Plague Champion as well, because he's not heavy infantry, he's only commander armor. So piercing does quite a good amount. But yeah, we'll see how these double shurikens go. Right now there's no support for the jump squads of Sostenes, so I'm a little bit concerned about them here. But maybe if they both force melee onto this shuriken, they don't. They might have had a chance to wipe it, but they redistribute their attacks. Bloodletters here. Oh, Touch of Nurgle. This could be brutal if Bloodletter dies. Yeah, Banshees need to get out of there. But he warps out anyway. So that was a bit of a waste of the Touch of Nurgle. He should have let one of the Bloodletters die, and he might have killed 3 or 4 Banshees there, because they were quite low on HP with all full models. Like a max hit there from the last cannon. Oh, here comes the Autarch. Alright. Yeah, I like the Autarch here. I think she's a really good call. And again, you can use the jump from the Autarch to buff your Banshees. Extra damage, heals them, extra movement speed. So it's going to help in those melee fights. Just grab the Singing Spear as well, so your Farseer actually does good damage in melee too. I mean, that basically doubles her melee damage, so it's pretty effective. Not to mention it makes her special attacks do a lot more damage. Autarch, though, committing too hard right now. What is he doing? Oh, he's not paying attention to her. He's going to lose the Autarch instantly. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, that's awful. Oh, the Wraithlord doesn't even kill a Bloodletter on retreat. Okay, he does pick up the Plague Champion. Obviously, this is not a super high level game, guys. There's a lot of micro errors here. But these aren't strategic mistakes, they're micro mistakes, so I can let that fly. Wraithlord there obviously should have snagged a Bloodletter or 2. Autarch had no reason to die, but nor did the Plague Champion. Plague Champion is a bit cheaper to replace though, so that's going to be good for Naysmith. Now we've got to... Oh, why is the Wraithlord walking right into the last cannon? Yeah, don't do that. Back off. That's a lot of damage coming out into that Wraithlord. Gonna need to be repaired off for a while. He's getting the shoulder-mounted shuriken cannon. There's no ranged fire support here to help the Heretics, so the Banshees would win. But actually get quite a lucky special there from the Aspiring Champion, and then with the Raptors coming in, yeah, the Banshees got to get out of there. I haven't seen the Spirit Stones used once yet. No Fortune on the Banshees, which is a problem. The Farseer basically should be babysitting the Banshees. Now, another thing she can do, you can put the Wraithlord in range stance now that it's got its shoulder-mounted shuriken, and then you can guide it with the Farseer. 30% more damage, 30% more range. Could be pretty handy. Help put some pressure on from a distance. But Sostenes, he's ahead in VPs. But wow, both players are now going tier 3. Yeah, I really think Sostenes needs to be blobbing the Banshees with the Farseer at all times. That's going to make them exponentially more useful with the Spirit Stones. And I'd also, honestly, say get the Singing Spear. It's worth it just to increase... It doubles your Farseer damage, man. That's worth it. When she's got Fortune, and so she's extra tanky as well. You know, she can tango in melee. Plague Champion doesn't have his Armour of Pestilence, so he's vulnerable to getting knocked over. He's gonna do his little stun though, which gives him a couple of free hits. Okay, stun into a Blight Grenade, that's alright. But you just counter that with a Spirit Stone's heal, which you've seen right there. So completely negated all that damage. And then it restores her energy, so now she can Fortune and guide the Banshees for more damage resistance and more damage on them. I don't know why Sostenes keeps blobbing his shurikens together, it's quite poor play. So one Raptor there, one jump just countered both the shurikens. And that should have been another wipe on the... Oh, that's gotta die, yeah. Shurikens aren't doing anything. I mean, you're against double jump units, how can your shurikens do anything? I'm confused as to why he replaced them. in tier 2. That seems a bit strange. The Banshees are going to force off the las cannon here, because there's no heretics to defend the las cannon. The heretics, where are they? Over here? Yeah, they're capping. So the Banshees just walked in mindlessly. Wow, they just got the CSM too? Damn! It really didn't look like they were going to have the DPS for that. Oh, there's a Farseer in here as well. She's only default though. I mean, aspects of fleetness, man. The dual mirror blades, a little bit extra damage. Well, you know, 30% more damage against heavy infantry on the Exarch, who does roughly the damage of 2 normal Banshees. It's going to be a Predator tank from Naysmith. Logical. This thing can't get its Bright Lance now because it's committed to the Shuriken, so it's very vulnerable being a walker versus a tank. The tank's obviously faster, can just hunt it down, and obviously the walker can't actually get into melee with it because it's too slow. So yeah, tank counters a Wraith Lord. Now the nice thing compositionally for Naysmith is he also has the beautiful double jump squads, so it's going to be difficult for Sostenes to counter with a Bright Lance. And again, this is where Warp Spiders could be useful. The Warp Spiders are harder to pin down with your jump squads. They can teleport in, they can snare the tank with a hairwire. Now it's a bit easier to output some damage with heavy melee, like the Wraith Lord, because the Wraith Lord can catch the tank for a bit, whilst the tank is snared by a hairwire. If you had aspects of strength on the Banshees, that would also apply. I don't really think it's worth it getting the fleetness. If we've seen a Blood Crusher from Naysmith here, you could have shut that down easily with Warp Spiders plus the heavy melee Singing Spear, heavy melee Howling Banshees, but it's going to be difficult as well. Like I say, if he had the Singing Spear, that would be another source of heavy melee on top of the Wraith Lord. This is a better source of heavy melee to hunt tanks that are hit by a hairwire grenade because you've got the fleetness, fleet of foot on the Farseer to move faster. But the problem for Sostenes is he doesn't have no Warp Spiders. He didn't get that shit. So he's probably going to have to go for a Fire Prism. And Fire Prisms lose 1v1 to tanks, so you need something to zone for it. Right now, nothing to counter the las cannon in the back here, which is a bit awkward. Yeah, and the Predator's tank simply backs out of the arc of fire of the Bright Lance. Now the Raptors teleport in, they can force off the Bright Lance, and now the Wraith Lord's dead. Because a tank is faster than a Wraith Lord. So yeah, that's rough for Sostenes. He's got some Seer Council, who are going to be able to deal with Bloodletters and Raptors relatively well, but this was a default Predator. This thing could actually go for Nurgle right now. No, it probably shouldn't. It should probably just go for Khorne. Extra 75% bolter damage will be nice against these light infantry targets, not to mention... Okay, he's going to go for Nurgle. I mean, the damage over time bolters on Nurgle, I don't know if they actually do more damage than the Khorne bolters with 75% extra base damage. It's probably quite similar. You get melee resist, which... Well, power melee is already doing less damage against you, so with the melee resist from this upgrade, it's basically going to do no fucking damage to you. And then you also have your tank heal itself passively. It's just a great anti-infantry weapon. AoE damage over time shells, and then a massive, massive increase to your max HP, 75%. But you lose speed. So it would be terrible against like the Wraith Lord, for example. But now that that's dead, it facilitates him going for this Nurgle tank, and you can see it will now output its pressure against infantry. Seer Council are relatively resistant. They're not going to stick around in that goop. With their 500 HP per model, they actually are fairly durable. But Nurgle tank is amazing against things like heroes, because they're single entities, so you stack up that damage over time loads. And Sostenes going for another Guard Your Weapons team. This is terrible. Stop getting setup teams. You're against double jump squads. Sostenes, man. Okay, well the Raptors have gone for Melters. Man, he must have got that whilst trying to kill the Wraith Lord. That's crazy. Jesus, Naysmith, that's heavy commitment to kill a Wraith Lord. You had a tank, man, and a las cannon. Look, that helps Sostenes. These guys can still jump on a Bright Lance, but obviously they're going to do way less damage to it, so that's nice. But still, 2 jump squads and you're buying a Bright Lance. Should have got a Fire Prism. So the main disadvantage with a Fire Prism, right? So tanks beat Fire Prisms 1v1 because Fire Prisms do less DPS and have lower HP and lower speed. So why do they have all that? Why a Fire Prism shit? No, because they have more range and they can chain knockback. normal tanks don't do knockback. So normal tanks have the speed, so they just rush the Fire Prism, and the Fire Prism can't exploit its range, and it just dies due to the fragility. A Nurgle tank has reduced speed. It's actually slower than a Fire Prism, so a Fire Prism can kite a Nurgle tank indefinitely. I guess the Melter Raptors actually would be pretty rough for a Fire Prism, but you can guard them with Seer Council or Banshees even. Just keep the Banshees back, front line with the Seer Council since they're tankier, you'd be in a good spot. The Fire Prism can just chunk away at the Nurgle Predator from afar, and you'd have a pretty good counter since the Fire Prism can't be caught by a Nurgle Predator because the Nurgle Predator's too slow. And then your Farseer goes around with the Seer Council. Yo, he had Armor of Azurian as well, so he gets Time Field. Imagine 40% speed reduction on a Nurgle tank. Yikes. And also, you know, you can just wait for the Raptors to teleport in. Boom! Time Field on them. Now the Raptors can't shoot. Yeah. Sostenes definitely had the options here. I think biggest mistakes were just getting way too many setup teams against double jump squads. Raptors, honestly, MVP of this entire game, I think. They did amazing. They took the tango with the Banshees a few times, held them off quite well. They dealt with shurikens, wiped them all game. They were just an absolute pain in the ass for Sostenes. Would have liked to seen the Warp Spreader squad in tier 2 for Sostenes. He did get the Autark, but unfortunately he lost him literally in the first engagement that he got her, not him. And that was a shame, because if he kept the Autark around, that could have been an amazing triple threat. Autark, Farseer, Banshees go together. That would be very hard to deal with. Pick up the Singing Spear on the Farseer. He'd have been in a really nice position. And then obviously the Autark can jump on the las cannon and just be a general pain to it. But there you go. As for Naysmith, yeah, I mean, just micro errors. In terms of build, I think he pretty much did everything right, except for the Blight Grenades. Blight Grenades didn't really do anything all game. I really, really disliked that purchase. What did he do in tier 2? He got a Bloodletters first, which is fine. And then he went for the Havoc. Because now, I wouldn't have gone for Bloodletters if I thought the enemy was going for a Wraithlord. I would have gone for Plague Marines on top of the Lascannon Havoc, because I think really killing the Wraithlord with just the Lascannon Havoc is really asking too much of your Havoc. You generally need 2 sources of AV. But yeah, I think that was okay. And then he goes tier 3. Melter Raptors were very weird. I guess he just really wanted to kill the Wraithlord. I don't think that was necessary, but it does help you with a potential Fire Prism. Maybe that was the intention, I'm not sure. But generally pretty decent play in terms of strategy here from Naysmith. Just fuck the Blight Grenades. They're a noob trap. And they're not going to work against high-level players. They're not going to walk into them. It's way too obvious. This guy's way too slow. It's just not a good tool. If the Banshees are going to be that close, just hit them with the stench from not this armor, but the other armor in tier 1. Anyway, that's all for this one, folks. Hope you did enjoy this sloppy Saturdays. A nice bit of sibilance there for you all. That's going to be all from your boy Torpid this time. I am signing out.